after getting 350 million views on YouTube and creating videos for business owners for years, I have seen something that a lot of people don't understand and nobody really thinks about it, but it's literally 50% of the video that you create. That means that the result that you get from the video, the sales, the leads, the sign-ups to your software, counts down to the video in 50% and something else in 50%. And more than 90% of the people focus on the video side and forget to do anything with the other side, which leads them to not getting results and not getting views. I just don't understand why this doesn't work, but I did what everybody else said. I went to YouTube, I searched for other competitors winning videos, I did those videos, but I don't get any sales, I don't get any sign-ups. So what I'm doing wrong? But you're not alone in this, because for years that I've been creating content, I've seen other people on the homepage of YouTube get a ton more views with much less production quality, much less good thumbnails, and I was like, okay, so why this guy gets a lot more views, why our videos have better thumbnails, have better editing, have better everything, so what is the one thing that is better in that video than in ours? And I'm not saying this to offend any of my clients or target anybody, but other than the script, other than the thumbnail, other than the idea, other than the editing, and other than these things, the one thing that is different in every single video is the creator. It's you, actually. And a lot of people fear about this. A lot of people think that being on camera and being in front of camera is hard. You feel weird sitting right here, recording, talking to something, not even somebody, but this is just a mindset problem, because you can easily fix all of these problems and easily get better on camera. If you think about it, there are people who just sit down without anything and can speak so well and can get their thoughts out so well that you don't even have to have editing and you don't need the editing. You just watch them all the way through because they are just interesting. This is similar to podcasts. In podcasts you don't really have editing, but you have people who are interesting and you listen to them because you are interested in what they have to say. Of course, it's a little bit different because you have two people usually in a podcast, which makes the dynamic so much better because it feels like you are listening to a conversation, because that's what you do. But there are people who just sit down and talk so confidently, talk so well, you just look at them and you just attracted to them in terms of watching the video, not in the literal sense, or maybe even that can be a factor as well. But the point is, for example, a person like Andrew Tate is just sits down, talks about nothing, but can make it sound so charismatic and make it sound so interesting that you just watch. And that's actually not a very hard thing to do. It just comes down on what do you want as a brand. Because of course Andrew Tate got viral, but he had to say a lot of controversial stuff to get there. And that means that you have a lot of things that you may say, but you don't really think it's true. And it can bite you back, because after years, and maybe you got as famous as Andrew Tate, a lot of people will start attacking you for things that you have said. And if you don't have the knowledge to keep that out or to actually defend yourself, you will just run into a hole where you can't get out because you said stuff which made you famous but you didn't really believe them, or it's just you said it to become famous. So this is not the solution. By the way, a lot of people have fears about content creation, not just in front of the camera, but other stuff. Why should I teach? Why am I qualified to teach? And so on. So I created a free mini course which goes over these things that I send to every client of mine, because every new client I have, we usually go over 1 or 2 lessons from this mini course, because they just have this feeling. They are like, okay, why should I teach? Why am I qualified to teach? And this ultimately ruins your videos, so you won't get more sales or you won't get more leads from the content, which was the main idea for you. This is mainly for business owners or people who sell through YouTube, but if you are interested, you can check it out in the description. So probably the biggest thing and the biggest mistake I see people are making is that they talk to the camera in a weird way. So they just sit down and just overdo themselves. They are like, okay, these are the 5 tips and the 5 habits that you have to do if you want to be a millionaire tomorrow. And if you do this, this is just weird. And people right now in this stage of YouTube and this stage of content in the actual world, people love more authentic speaking. People love more talking and feeling like they are in the room with you. And this means that if you sit down and if you start speaking like this and showing everybody how to do this without any problems, you will just become weird, because this is not how you speak. This is not how you speak in real life, which is the most important thing. What are you doing in real life? How are you speaking in real life? Of course, you will have different characters on camera and off camera, and there are like the big streamers in the world. If you check them on stream and off stream, it's probably way different, because of course you have to entertain, of course you have to keep up the attention, but in our world, in business world, people come for information. People come for value from you. And after they get the information, after they get the value, and after they see you on camera, then they will start liking you. And then they will slowly start watching the videos for you and not just for your information. And of course, this is a very powerful place to be in, but you have to get there. And if you act very outrageous and you are like over the top and you just speak loudly and you just do everything, it won't come out as like genuine. So the number one thing that you have to do is look at how you speak in your friend group. How are you communicating with your friends, with your family? What are you doing in the real life and not in front of the camera? Because you have to forget that image in front of the camera right now. For now, you have to start by being yourself. And if you are being yourself and if you are talking, you may have different styles. Not everybody is the same. You can't sit down and just talk like everybody else or do that everybody else does. And I'm saying this as the first thing because this is what made me the biggest difference. I was over the top. I was trying to be the Mr. Beast style. In this video, I'm going to change. It's so Mr. Beasty. It's so trying to be somebody who I'm not. After I realized how I speak in my friend group, how I speak usually, I just took that and I just used that. And right now I speak 1,000 times better in front of the camera than I used to do years ago. But this doesn't just come down to the fact that you are speaking as like you would in your friend group. This comes down to the fact as well that you practice regularly. And of course, you're a business owner, you know what is going on and how to build a business. You need repetition and you need to just grind. But this is true for content creation. A lot of people think about content creation as like something that you just do, but it's actually a skill. And a lot of people don't think about it as a skill. Because yes, you have to learn how to thumbnail design or hire somebody, you have to hire an editor, and these are skills that you are outsourcing, but the actual content creation skill you have to learn. And this is something that you get better as you go on and as you record more videos. A friend came to me and asked me, he wants to start creating long form YouTube videos, and asked me how much videos should I create? What should be the amount that I create every single month? And I was like, okay, so YouTube really usually likes quality videos better. So it's easier to get 10 million views on one video than to get 10 videos on a million views, right? So I should say that create one every 2 weeks or create one every month. And that would be a very good tactic for somebody who is looking to get as many views as they can. But since I knew how he was overacting on videos and how he was being like, this is what you have to do, I knew that this wouldn't work for him. There is an example study of this about a group being forced into 2 different groups, and one group had to create one... What is the actual word? It's ways. So one group had to create one ways in 4 weeks. So they had 4 weeks to perfect one single thing. They had to create one thing for 4 weeks and they had to make it as perfect as they can. But the other team had to create one every single week for 4 weeks. And they compared the last of this group and the one of this group. And everybody thought that the one who had 4 weeks to spend on it as beginners, that's very important that we are talking about beginners, they had 4 weeks to spend on it, so it would be so much better than the other group, but that's not what happened. Because if you don't know what you are doing yet, creating one for a longer period of time is just a waste of time because you don't learn. You don't become better at the skill actually, and you will be so much better by creating 4 things in 4 weeks, and probably the first will be shit, probably the second will be a bit better, but by the third you know what to do and you know what worked in the first 2 and what didn't work in the first 2, so you do what worked and then try to do something else, and may it become better or may it become worse, it doesn't really matter, you just get the repetition, and by the 4th you have some experience in creating vases and you can become so much better, so much easier. And this is the perfect metaphor for videos as well. So if I told this guy to create one video every 2 weeks, I would send him to hell because it wouldn't get anywhere. He would spend 2 weeks on one video which didn't actually work. So I told him to get 1 or 2 videos out a week, and this means that you will get so much better at content creation, and right now you won't really get views, but you just get the reps in and become so much better that you will understand how to create content, and then you will go viral. So now that you understand that you don't have to be over the top, you don't have to play the character that you are currently playing, and that content creation is skill, now you just have to improve in the skill. And how you do that starts with the speaking side. A lot of people speak very badly. Even if you remember at school presentations, or even if you look at people in their friend group, they speak a lot with and and they do a lot of different stuff that doesn't really make sense, and you just don't care about what they have to say. And that comes down to the fact that they can't speak well, which is the biggest missing skill in this century. But this makes it better for you because you just have to learn and you just have to become better at it. But one thing that becomes better at recording videos and not presentations is the fact that you are recording actually. And I know this sounds crazy and I know it sounds like what the fuck is this guy saying, but the point is, on a presentation or on a friend group, you say something and it's said, it's over, you can do nothing about it, everybody heard it, everybody knows what you are saying. But in a recording, if I say something stupid, I just can cut it out. If I do something mistake, I just cut it out. I don't really care about it because I just cut it out. If I start a sentence well, and you probably happen in this video like 10 or 20 times, I start the sentence well, but I fuck up, I just cut out the part where I fucked up and continue from that point. And I don't have to worry about what I'm saying or if I'm saying it correctly, because I just say it again correctly and now it's done. And this is something that I don't understand why people fear about content creation, because it's just so much freedom. You don't have to perform well on the first try, you can perform well on the 26th try and it will still seem like the first try if you cut out the 25 mistakes. Like right here, I just made a mistake but I cut it out, so you don't know. But if you become better at speaking and you learn how to speak well, the videos will become so much better and you will attract more audience, while you have to fix mistakes less because you are just better at the skill that you are doing. One other very important aspect of videos is that you think about the audience, the camera side, and not yours. Because when you are speaking and when you are explaining stuff, you have to make sure that the people who watch understand what you are explaining to them. And this comes down to thinking about what they know and what they don't know. Because if you use words that they probably never heard before and you explain stuff with that, they won't really understand what you are saying. And the message won't come across as well, which makes them just leave the video because they don't understand anything, they don't get value from it, they just don't see the point of watching the videos further. While you may have some insane information and you may want to teach to other people that information, if you don't think about who are you teaching, you will speak to somebody who is at the same level as you. If you are at level 8 of your skill and you are teaching level 5s, you have to use the words that level 5s understand. And this not only becomes easy if you know who you are speaking to, but if you are using metaphors and you are using examples, everything becomes so much easier. Because you may use a word that a lot of people don't understand, some people understand, and it's just a term that everybody uses in the space. But if you use an example after it and you tell people, okay, this is what I meant, and you use an everyday example, then it becomes so much easier to understand. Like right here, I just talked to you about this concept, and right now I will give you an example so you understand what I mean. So, for example, if I talk about teaching the guitar, which I always do as an example, so let's do another example right now. If I talk about learning how to cook, so you are a level 8 pizza maker and you want to show others level 5 pizza makers how to make better pizza. So the pizza maker in the video says, this is how to make pizza. First of all, we need to cut out a shape that is good for the aerodynamics of the oven, which creates a la la la. And you are like, okay, what the fuck is this guy saying? Rather, if you say, we need to cut out a good shape that makes the cooking part easier for us, which is a circle shape. Now this becomes so much easier to understand. You may even say like, okay, so the pizza and the pizza's quality depends on the resources that used. Because if you think about it in your life, if you have a chance to eat an egg from a shop or eat an egg from a friend's farm, you would choose the friend's farm. And right now, as you see, I just used an example and or a metaphor that they can think about it in their own life and understand, okay, it's true, I like the egg from the farm, so yeah, the pizza making depends on the resources and ingredients used and the quality of them. I'm going to be honest, right now as I'm recording this video, this sounds very complex and I don't know if it's easy to understand. The whole point is to just use examples and use metaphors. This is something that you should never forget. The video is 50% about the idea, the thumbnail, the title, the editing, the recording scene, and 50% you. How can you communicate the information? How can you speak? How well are you attracting the audience? So if you never worry about that part, if you never thought about becoming better speaker, becoming better content creator, even as a business owner, you will just be left behind by those who think about this stuff, and those people won't have to edit their videos. Those people won't have to go to nice places to film nice videos. They will just sit down in front of the camera and be so much better than you because they just communicate better. So never forget this and try to become better at it. And if you want me to personally help you do this and do a lot more on YouTube and get more sales, get more leads, and get more signups for your software or anything, just look at the first link in the description and let's talk about it.